Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask, Heidi. It is Wednesday. It's the 23rd day of August. Today is Black Ribbon Day. It's Protected National Hazy IPA Day. That's like a beer thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
National Cuban Sandwich Day today. Have I ever had one of those?
I don't know.
I have to look and see what that is. I wonder if I have. International Day for the Remembrance of the Slave Trade and its Abolition. National Sponge Cake Day. And National Ride the Wind Day today. And I've got a guest joining me. I'm excited. This guy has done a bunch of really cool books with Marvel. He's got like a Captain America book, a bunch of other ones, but he's got a new one out. It's called The Incredible Hulk book. I think it's actually called something else. That's what I have it written down in my notes. I think it's a better title. Richard Johnson will be our guest coming up.
It's more important now than ever before to have a better credit card. We would love to help at bettercreditcards.com. We offer a variety of credit card options to fit your needs. Whether you want a card to give you cash back or points and perks, or a credit card to help you build your credit, we can help you find a good fit for you at bettercreditcards.com.
Give yourself a little credit. Go ahead and switch to bettercreditcards.com.
That's bettercreditcards.com.
Now, surveys and studies and such brought to you by bettercreditcards.com. According to a study, half of all TikTok posts about baby boomers perpetuate ageist stereotypes. Researchers from the National University of Singapore warn that this is only widening the hostile divide between young and old. Well, that's not good. The team analyzed 673 TikTok videos marked with the hashtag boomer or hashtag OKBoomer, collectively garnering over 5.4 billion views. That's a lot of views. They found that half of the videos cast boomers in a negative light or reinforced negative stereotypes of older adults, including portraying them as slow, irrelevant, and incompetent. Mm-hmm. Wow. Baby boomers, by the way, born between 1946 and 1964, are now between the ages of 58 and 75 years. So that is not me, but that is the generation right above me.
Right.
I know many boomers that are probably cooler than me, so I don't know what that says about me. So I'm just saying, I'm older than some of the boomers that I know. Surveys and studies and such brought to you by bettercreditcards.com.
Did you know you can allocate a percentage of your IRA to physical gold and silver with a tax-free rollover? You can put your IRA back on the gold standard. Genesis Gold IRA is the only IRA that can hold physical precious metals. Call now for your free gold and silver report and learn how to qualify for up to $10,000 in free silver. GenesisGoldIRA.com would like to help you protect your IRA today with a simple phone call. Learn more and get the phone number at GenesisGoldIRA.com. That's GenesisGoldIRA.com.
Did you know? Brought to you by GenesisGoldIRA.com. Heidi, did you know? Men say I love you first. Yeah, a new study published in the Sage Journal of Social and Personal Relationships. Researchers had over 3,000 adults from Australia, Brazil, Chile, Colombia, France, Poland, and the UK complete online questionnaires about their relationships. Contrary to stereotypical gender norms, they found that 6 of the 7 regions, men were more likely to admit love first. On average, men said I love you 69 days into a relationship, while women didn't even think about love until 77 days. The lonely
I'm trying
outlier?
to think of who said it first.
Have we ever said it?
I don't know.
We've only been married 23 years. I don't know if it's time to say it yet. By the way, there's only one country where men did not say I love you first. That was France. So, yeah, they didn't. But I'm pretty sure I probably said I love you first. And then you laughed at me and pushed me down.
I don't think so.
That's what happened. We don't know everything, but now we know this.
John and Heidi.
Now, big screen, little screen, brought to you by InsuranceChicken.com. American Horror Stories returning to spook you with a 4-episode Huluween on Hulu. I got it now.
Cute.
Huluween, October 26th on Hulu. Former Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star Lisa Rinna will headline an episode.
Okay.
Tapeworm American Horror Stories, a spinoff of American Horror Story. So, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what that is. We watched some episodes of that, and some were good, and then some were like,
exactly.
What was that all about? If you feel like hanging out by the beach with, Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis, you could do that maybe. The couple is offering a chance to spend the night in their guest cottage of one of their beach houses. One of their beach houses.
I have zero interest in something like that.
They say, hey, babe, I have a really dumb idea. I think we should have complete strangers come and stay with us at the beach. So there's a link if that is something you're interested in. And Universal Orlando officially unveiled Minion Land. So I've got some more information about that Florida theme park in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com.
Do you cringe when you get your mobile phone bill? Mint Mobile can help. Just $15 a month for premium wireless. Give your family a Mintervention. Mint Mobile makes it easy to switch. Get a new phone or bring your current phone to Mint Mobile. At Mintervention.com, you can see the current special offers from Mint Mobile, offering premium wireless for just $15 a month. That is far less than most people are paying. Just $15 a month. Learn more now at Mintervention.com. That's Mintervention.com.
Now your scoop of the day comes your way, courtesy of BetterCreditCards.com. Woman in Southern California found a dead frog in a bag of spinach that she bought at a grocery store.
Ew.
I worked at a grocery store. And
I could see how that would happen, though. I mean, it's,
Yeah. There was some broccoli that a person was going to buy, and there was a giant, like a worm of some kind, like a caterpillar-looking thing, but it was the same color as the broccoli.
Right.
Yeah, I was like, let's get you a different one.
Right, exactly.
Researchers say guppies are able to reproduce even after they die.
Really?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah. I think there's some celebrities that have done that, aren't there? Pretty sure. And a millionaire has filed a dying boy's wish for a ride in a supercar. He's appealing for help to save him. Matt Fiddles, a former Michael Jackson bodyguard, took 6-year-old Woody Blight for a spin in his Lamborghini amidst a battle with neuroblastoma. So there's a video if you want to see this. It shows Woody having the time of his life in an exotic auto. And Fiddles, or I don't know if I'm saying that right, Fids, I think, Fiddes. There's not an L, so it's Matt Fides. Followed up.
Hey, Fiddles.
I'm sorry, I'm reading quickly. I should slow down. He followed up that by taking the youngster for a ride in his Ferrari. He said millionaire Matt, who made headlines for buying the Lambo despite being unable to write, has since started a campaign asking for doctors or specialists to help Woody save Woody's life and to come forward before it's too late. They're even offering to pay for his treatment. Woody's mother, Paige, says her son desperately needs alternative medical solutions after England's National Health Service ran out of treatments to offer.
Yikes.
They say of Fides, he was just so lovely and kind, and what he did was just amazing. I love that. That was going to be my good news. I probably should have made it my good news, and I could have actually read it first and said some of it right. I've got it in the show notes.
Way to go, Fiddles.
If you want to read it, you just go away. You can read it for yourself. You can read it correctly in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com. If you're looking for a new opportunity, South Dakota is calling. There's over 27,000 open jobs at this very moment. Whether you like the city life or if you're more of a fan of the rural lifestyle, South Dakota has plenty to offer. From the Black Hills and the Badlands on the west side of the state to the rolling prairies in the middle with many small towns and the city of Sioux Falls on the eastern edge, there's no state income tax in South Dakota and many job opportunities. Learn more about what's waiting for you in South Dakota at movetosd.com. That's movetosd.com. Thank you for listening to The John and Heidi Show. Excited to visit with Richard Johnson. He's got a brand new book out called The Incredible Hulk, World Breaker, Hero, Icon. Now, this is not the first Marvel book you've put out. You've got a Captain America book. You've got a Spider-Man book. You've got quite a history in this space.
Yeah, well, my history, I've been in comics since 1997. I started working at DC Comics, where my job was to sell graphic novels into bookstores and libraries. So I'm sort of credited with building that business. But the writing, I've been doing these for a few years now. We started with Captain America, then went to Spider-Man, now the Hulk, and the next one will be Avengers. And the purpose of these books are, I don't know if you're a fan, John, or not. Are you a fan of comics?
Absolutely, and I think deep down everybody's a little bit of a fan.
Yeah, and if you're a little bit, you see a movie or a TV show, and you're like, I want to know more about this character. I want to read comics. I want to, find some. These are stories that not necessarily the best. They're really great stories, but it's a way to get into it. Because there's continuity in comic books, which means there's, Batman's over 85 years old.
Yeah.
Spider-Man was created in the 1960s. So there's a lot of story there. So sometimes when you enter into it, it's a little confusing what's going on. So the easiest way to understand these books is with Captain America. We rank them by chapter in order, sort of the level you need to know about the character in order to really understand the story. In Captain America, we've got it private, corporal, sergeant, and then captain. So at the private level, they're pretty much origin stories or stories you need to know nothing about Cap or Spidey or Hulk to understand. So that's part of the intent of the book, to get people reading this stuff.
I love that. And in your latest book, there's over 300 Hulk illustrations. So not only are you going to read some amazing things, you're going to see some amazing artwork.
Absolutely.
So when you're going about putting this together, is this information readily available, or do you have to really dig for this stuff?
So the process of putting the books together is, I do research. What are the best Hulk stories? What are their favorites? I talk to friends, fellow nerds like me. What stories would you want to see in the book? I put together a big list. We got to cull it down to about 30 stories. Plus, we have a section in the middle for the movies, for the MCU. And we send it to Marvel, and they say, well, maybe this one and not that one. Or, we go back and forth a little bit, and then we nail down the list. And then I go to Marvel Unlimited, their all-access comic book app, and I look for the artwork for each of the comics. I find out what comics these stories entail. It's a lot of research, actually. And then I take screenshots of what artwork I think will look cool in the book. And we send it to Marvel, and we get the digital assets. And meanwhile, then I go back, and I read all these comics, all these stories. And it's hundreds of them. And sometimes I have to do research because something will happen in one of the stories that happened, way back a year or two ago in the continuity of the Hulk. And I'm like, well, what does that mean? I need to explain it in my essay here about the Hulk. So it's a fair amount of work putting these things together.
So speaking of continuity in your works, have you ever come across something that just didn't quite seem like it fit?
It was actually a famous story, actually on the DC comic side, called Crisis on Infinite Earth, where their multiverses got out of control. And they're like, it's just too confusing. We got to stop. And so they sort of wiped the slate clean. This was back in the 1980s. Once in a while, it gets a little confusing. There are several different Spider-Mans. There's a couple different Hulks. There's a couple different Red Hulks. Only one She-Hulk. So there are a couple Captain Americas. So it can be a little confusing if you're not really into this.
Now, you've got several books out now, and the latest is The Incredible Hulk that we've been talking about, but there's also an Avengers book on the way?
It'll be next year. We're just finishing it up like this week. The book is mostly designed, and they got to plug the text into the design, and we have to have everybody look at it and Marvel approve it, and it'll be out next year.
So how long does this take? When did you start on the book for Hulk?
It probably honestly takes about 4 or 5 months for everything, because there's a little time in between where, because it's a licensed book and we deal with Marvel, where we have to send in the story ideas, and that takes them a while. Those nerds argue back and forth what stories they want to see in the book, then get back to us, and we that takes a few weeks. It takes a week or two for me to pull the artwork and put it in the spreadsheet that they want it in, and then send it out. And then it's reading all the comics, which is a lot.
I appreciate all the time you put into these books, and thank you for sharing your time with us today.
My pleasure.
Again, the new book out right now is called The Incredible Hulk, World Breaker Hero Icon. It's available now. I've got a link to it in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com.
It's more important now than ever before to have a better credit card. We would love to help at bettercreditcards.com. We offer a variety of credit card options to fit your needs. Whether you want a card to give you cash back or points and perks, or a credit card to help you build your credit, we can help you find a good fit for you at bettercreditcards.com.
Give yourself a little credit. Go ahead and switch to bettercreditcards.com.
That's bettercreditcards.com.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
It would require close to 2 million mosquitoes bites to lose a life-threatening amount of blood. 2 liters.
Okay.
2 million mosquito bites would help you lose 2 liters of blood.
What a horrifying way to
That
die.
would be a terrible one. Who came up with that study? And why? They're like, hey, here's a nightmare I've been having. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Hello did not become a greeting until the telephone arrived.
Oh.
So up until that point, they didn't even use that word, but they invented it because they're like, okay, when you pick it up, what do you say? Like, how about hello? Okay, we'll do that one. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Facebook's color scheme is blue because Mark Zuckerberg suffers from red-green color blindness.
Okay.
All right. That's nice. And our final fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Green olives and black olives are not different species. The distinction reflects whether they were picked before or after ripening.
Really?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
So now you know. Several fun facts. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
Did you know you can allocate a percentage of your IRA to physical gold and silver with a tax-free rollover? You can put your IRA back on the gold standard. Genesis Gold IRA is the only IRA that can hold physical precious metals. Call now for your free gold and silver report and learn how to qualify for up to $10,000 in free silver. GenesisGoldIRA.com would like to help you protect your IRA today with a simple phone call. Learn more and get the phone number at GenesisGoldIRA.com. That's GenesisGoldIRA.com.
Time now for the Mint Mobile question of the day. It comes your way courtesy of Mintervention.com. Question, Heidi. 53% of us say this person changed their life for the better. Who is it?
Their spouse.
No, their teacher. 53% would probably be a low number for their spouse changing their life for the better. I'm hoping that's closer to 100.
Well,
Because if it's not,
I don't think it is, actually.
you're aiming a little too low. Would you say that I've changed your life for the better? Mint Mobile question of the day comes your way, courtesy of Mintervention.com.
Do you cringe when you get your mobile phone bill? Mint Mobile can help. Just $15 a month for premium wireless. Give your family a Mintervention. Mint Mobile makes it easy to switch. Get a new phone or bring your current phone to Mint Mobile. At Mintervention.com, you can see the current special offers from Mint Mobile, offering premium wireless for just $15 a month. That is far less than most people are paying. Just $15 a month. Learn more now at Mintervention.com. That's Mintervention.com.
Now, some weird news brought to you by WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com. An Atlanta man who lost his house after the city tore it down by mistake is now facing a lawsuit to have the entire property foreclosed.
What?
Unless he pays the demolition costs. Yeah. This is such a weird story. Everett Trippids, I don't know if I'm saying his name right, and if even if not, that's not the worst thing that's happened to him. They tore his house down. He says the city did provide warnings that his property had been labeled unfit for habitation, but they were sending them to the wrong address in a different zip code. He and his mother bought a century-old house as an investment. They were working on remodeling it, and the city showed up and tore it down. To make matters worse, the city of Atlanta is now suing him, threatening to foreclose on the land unless he pays the $68,000 that cost them to tear his house down. So,
oh my gosh, you
I have a
better
feeling-
lawyer up
yeah, I have
fast.
a feeling he's going to probably have an attorney, or about 12 of them pop up out of the woodwork. What a weird, is that the weirdest thing?
That is so bizarre.
So, very weird. Weird news brought to you by WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com.
John and Heidi.
Time now for the list brought to you by BetterCreditCards.com. The best wedding songs. Is this like the most ridiculous thing? Because everybody's going to have a different answer for this. But this is according to research across multiple platforms.
Okay.
So I don't know if I agree with... Now, I got to tell you, I was a wedding DJ for many, many, many years. And I've played all of these, I'm sure, at some point. But I don't know if these are the best. It's all so subjective. What would you say is the best wedding song? Do you have one?
really don't know.
You don't have? Okay. Number 5 on the list, Can't Help Falling in Love, Elvis Presley from 1961. Number 4, All of Me by John Legend from 2013. Number 3, 1,000 Years, Christina Perri from 2011. Number 2, Perfect by Ed Sheeran, 2017. And the number 1 best wedding song, again, according to this list, from 1960, At Last by Etta James.
Oh, love that
Beautiful song. And again, I can see where all of these belong on the list, but here's the thing. You probably thought of a song that didn't make the list. That's okay. That's your song. The list brought to you by BetterCreditCards.com. If you're looking for a new opportunity, South Dakota is calling. There's over 27,000 open jobs at this very moment. Whether you like the city life or if you're more of a fan of the rural lifestyle, South Dakota has plenty to offer. From the Black Hills and the Badlands on the west side of the state to the rolling prairies in the middle with many small towns and the city of Sioux Falls on the eastern edge, there's no state income tax in South Dakota and many job opportunities. Learn more about what's waiting for you in South Dakota at movetosd.com. That's movetosd.com. Now your quote of the day comes your way, courtesy of insurancechicken.com. Our quote today, I'm sure we've had this before. It sounds very familiar, from Andy Rooney, who says, "The average dog is nicer than the average person." I agree with that. We get to see, because we don't live too far from a place where people walk dogs, so we get to see a lot of dogs. And we
Yeah,
get
we
to
do.
see a lot of people.
I will say that I don't like most of the people, but I always like all of the dogs.
Every once in a
Even
while.
the mean dogs. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
he's so cute, but he's
Every
so
once
mean.
in a while, there's a mean dog that you're like, that dog's kind of mean. But yeah, Heidi's not a people person. She's more of a dog person. Quote of the day comes your way, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always like to wrap things up around here with good news. I think this is good news. Comes your way courtesy of GenesisGoldIRA.com. Take a listen to this headline. Mom is grateful for unbelievable kindness Colonial Heights police officer showed her family. So the police department in Virginia went above and beyond to assist an out-of-town family with a special needs son. Sarah Ford and her family stopped to eat in this particular town on their way home. They were heading to New York. About 2 hours after leaving the restaurant, they realized their son left his iPad at the restaurant. We've had that kind of thing happen before.
Yeah.
Liam, who lives with an intellectual disability, uses his iPad to learn. Ford called the restaurant and was told by the staff the iPad was still there. Since they were already hours away, she called the Colonial Heights Police Department for some help. Babette Hansen is the one who answered the phone. She said, I told Hansen my son has special needs. She was very supportive. I'm a mom of 3 children and a grandmother of 5, Babette said, and one of them is mildly autistic. I know the needs of a mom with an autistic child. The lieutenant, Jason Chimera, in turn called the Ford family and said, hey, I'm going to take care of everything. 30 minutes later, he arrived at the police station with the tablet. Before mailing it back to the Ford family, the officers filled it with mementos from around the department. Says, I was in tears of what they did for him. So they did get this thing, and there's like patches and pens and all kinds of stuff, and they sent it to them back at their home. That's kind of cool.
I would assume the restaurant would have done the same thing if she would have just asked.
I don't know. For some reason, they didn't, and the police department stepped up, which I think is really cool.
Well, I mean, that's amazing, but
Yeah.
yeah. It seems like like maybe they have other things they should be focusing on, but that's
Would
awesome.
you just... Oh, her name is Heidi, Heidi. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.